All right, everybody, it's John again from Gasper's Automotive Restoration, and I have a special guest today, Matt Firestone from
Old Yankee Speed Company.
And we're going to be talking about these early Ford transmissions. So we have two of them on the table here. One of them is a late 38 non-synchronized case that's Matt's disassembled, and he's going to go over that. And this case right here is, what is it, 40? 40 Ford side shifter. Okay, you can see it's a little different. The case is on the side, the cover's on the side. This one covers on the top. So we're going to be converting Matt's late 38 to synchronized gears, and we're going to be using some of the parts out of this transmission. They fit in there, and we've got some new parts right here. So that's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to disassemble. It's going to be a two-part video. We're going to take this apart, and we're going to show you how to disassemble, and have Matt go over what he's done so far on his stuff.
Okay, so this is a late 38 transmission. It probably came out of a truck. Actually, I know it came out of a truck. Late 38 started using double detent top shifts, and this is a good idea that you probably either have a late 38 or a 39 transmission, 39 obviously being desirable with the synchronized gears. I got this transmission, I was stoked because I was like, hey, awesome, I got another 39 transmission, and surprised when we opened it up, we found out that it didn't have synchro gears and determined to be a late 38, but no big deal. We're gonna show you how to convert this over. So the first thing you do need...
Can we see those double detents real quick there, Matt?
Yeah.
Just so you'll be a little close up.
Yep.
Sweet.
So, and here too. But the first thing you do need is you need to have a double detent shifter tower. And the other big thing besides the gears is that this is the shift fork that is in a late 38 and earlier transmission. This is 2 3/4 wide from here to here. A synchronized shift fork is 3 inches. So we have a replacement fork. This one's aftermarket. Nobody's making these anymore. This is probably from like the 80s or the 90s that I just had on the shelf. So we're gonna use this one here, but I do know this is an aftermarket. It's not an original Ford part because it doesn't have the number stamped on it. So you need this, and you're gonna need your double detent, but you can really use just about any case from 35 forward. So your case numbers are either gonna be a 78 case, like this one is, or you'll see them say a 48 case. Either or, there's a lot of discrepancy about which case is better. I don't think it makes much of a difference, but you do need a 78 case or a 48 case. So far I've stripped this down. I lip-dolled the inside of the transmission here and some of the parts that go with it. We took all the parts from this and that we're not gonna use, and we're gonna hang on to these. These are still good gears. There's nothing wrong with them. If someone's building a car with non-synchro gears or needs an extra set of synchro or non-synchro gears, we got them here.
Yeah, there's stuff's getting hard to find, and it used to be where you could just go to a catalog and get anything you want, and those days are over, at least for the time being. So used parts are going to be really good, and some people don't have the money to just go to a catalog and buy new gears. They're not cheap, even when you can get them. They're expensive. So at the minimum, if you don't care about your stuff, parts for these old transmissions, pay it forward. Give it to somebody at the least. And these old transmissions, I think Matt will agree, these are not like as easy to find as they used to be.
Yeah, I mean, certainly 39 transmissions are getting harder to come by. People call me all the time looking for them. The later side shift transmissions are a little bit more abundant, and the gears tend to be in better shape as well. So this is a 40 transmission that I got from Josh Wilson from Hot Rod Hunter on Instagram. He's a good friend, so he hooked me up with this. It's in a really nice shape. The gears look really good. It came off a very low miles 4-door sedan that got parted out.
Let's check out inside that transmission there. Let's check out these gears Matt's talking about here. Really nice condition transmission. There's no rust or anything in here. Nope, super clean. This is what you want to look for when you find one of these. Awesome.
Yeah, and so we're gonna use these gears. These synchros look to be in good shape, but we're gonna replace a bunch of stuff because we can, including like our bearings here. all these parts here are all from our friends at Millworks Hot Rod. We got all this stuff from them. You can get all this stuff from them. It's all available on their website, or you can give them a call, tell them what you need, and they will hook you up. They also do this in-house as well. If you want to have them build a transmission for you, they can do that as well, if it's not something you want to tackle yourself. These are the parts that came out of the 38 transmission that we're going to reuse, or may reuse, or can reuse. So our roller bearings, which are in really nice shape, these are original roller bearings. The new ones that are made in China just really lack in quality.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about that for a second. In the fire trucks that I redo here at Gasper's Automotive, there's a lot of these needle bearings here and these needle roller bearings, and they're a lot bigger in these older transmissions, different types than this, but it's the same design, same type of manufacturer, and the quality is not there at all. You're better off getting a used transmission, another one, if yours are bad, and pulling the other ones out and reusing them, because these usually don't go bad. They're bathed in oil at the bottom of the transmission, so they're usually not bad. And these are like, I would put these right back in. So
yeah, so I think we're probably going to just use what's in here, but these will go on the shelf. Certainly, I'll probably pack them with some grease and put them in a bag and put them on the shelf. So this is the clutch rod.
Isn't that an old Yankee part?
It is. This is part of the AV8 kit, because that's what this transmission is going into. It's actually going in a Model A Roadster. So we're going to be installing this as well. One of the things we need to do, though, is replace these bushings that were in here, which we've knocked out already. And I'm just waiting for those to get here because I didn't have any on the shelf. So, and we'll actually go over how to install this setup, particularly with the old Yankee kit, because this is an interference fit and it kind of throws people off. They think that just should be able to slide right down on the shaft here, and that's actually not what you want at all. So we'll go over how to make this fit, how do you attach it to the rod here, and install it on the transmission itself.
That should basically, it's not a hard press or anything, but it's just like you should have to just gently tap it on, right?
Yeah.
And then you got to pin it.
Yeah, but I've had people try to machine these, and
Yeah, they messing with it. Yeah, no, it's supposed to be like that.
So, yeah. One advantageous thing that we have here that most people don't have is John's got a tumbler. So we're going to take all these gears out. We're going to put them in the tumbler before we reassemble everything, so they'll be nice and clean, and also we can see and inspect a little bit further, and it gets rid of a lot of the...
Yeah, it gets rid of contaminants and grease and oil. I put a little special cleaner agent in there. It's not a high toxic thing. It's just a low, kind of like paint thinner almost, and it gets rid of all that grease and oil. And the deburring also removes burrs from the gears or sharp things that are in there. Anything that might be hanging on there is going to be removed. So that's really cool too.
Yep.
So one thing I want to talk about too, you see a lot of videos online of people working on stuff in garages, and you see this table here. This isn't the high-end TV station, where you got the guys rebuilding their 70 Chevelle at on those TV shows, and everything's perfectly clean and neat. That's really nice, but we don't have a team of people here to take care of that for us. So this is reality, but we have a table here that's, it's not perfect, but we've got everything laid out, and you don't want to be working in a pile. You can't have your stuff with tools piled in there and parts, and you're working on a case. I mean, I guess you can do it that way, but get yourself an area. This is what was this, like a 330 by 8 foot table, whatever this thing is. And this is about all you need. We got everything laid out. All our old parts are there. If we need something, we got it. We can grab it. And all our new parts are over here on the right. And we've got our work area in the middle. So that's basically, I think that's about it. I think we're ready to start tearing this thing apart.
Yep.
All right, cool. I'm gonna grab a couple blocks of wood to keep this thing from rolling over.
Yeah.
Right back.
Blanking out on what we're calling this right now.
You'll have to edit that. Get everybody close up here. Another thing too, don't feel like you have to have power tools to take stuff apart. Sometimes power tools aren't the greatest. On this here, it's really nice condition transmission. Probably not going to break anything, not going to be a problem, but sometimes those things can be a little overpowering and can break things.
Yeah, so on the AVA kit, you want to actually use a 46-48 tail shaft
Okay.
setup. These are too wide for our kit.
Lower that down there a little bit so you can see. Out there.
Yeah, so this one is for 40. I'm not sure how many years they use this for, this particular like width from here to here, but I do know on our AVA kit it uses a 46-48 rear. What is it? It's like tail shaft.
It's the Tranny mount, rear mount.
Rear mount.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a better way of putting it. Rear mount. If you don't have one, we do have them in stock. You can order one through Millworks, but keep an eye on it. These are great to hang on to anyways. People do buy them used, and you never know, you may need it for something.
Yeah, again, don't throw it out. All right, so that's the back of the transmission. Now we got the input shaft here, and I went and took the liberty of taking the throw-out bearing retaining spring here. All this spring does is keep this bearing from sliding forward towards the clutch. It's a light spring. It's easy to remove with a pair of pliers. And then the throw-out bearing comes right off. You're gonna wanna save this casting right here. Don't throw this thing out. Don't throw anything out until you're done with the job at the minimum. Make sure when you go to throw something out, you know what it is. Throw-out bearings, a lot of people look at it and go, geez, it's a bearing, I'm gonna replace it. Well, is there anything wrong with it? This bearing here has no grinding, no anything wrong with it at all. All the new bearings you buy, whether it's made in China or even the American-made ones, they make noise. Even the Timken ones, they make noise brand new. So you might want to think about keeping these. A throw-out bearing can last a long time, especially this one here. This is a real nice one. And then here's your clutch fork in the front. Matt was talking about earlier. We moved that out of the way. Now we're going to take out this input guide right here. Switch over to 1/2 inch. Grab the magnetic tray off the side of my toolbox. So here's the input shaft guide here, guide housing. This has got a seal inside, and this helps retain the bearing here for the input shaft. And it has a little sleeve around here to kind of cover the shaft. And now we want to try to remove this. We're going to have to take a couple other things apart to do that. But get yourself a magnetic tray right here, put your stuff in it, so you don't lose it. All right.
Let's make our tumbling pile.
Yeah, let's make a tumbling pile.
Yeah. So this. We have to press this off here, right?
Yeah, if you want to replace that, we can press it off, or if you want to leave it.
Well, I mean, we don't need to tumble this. I got one already tumbled, so.
I would toss that in the tumbler though, just to clean it.
Yeah.
It'll clean it off, and at least we can inspect it or whatever. Get all that glue off there.
Yeah. With the bearing too?
Yeah, it won't hurt it.
All right.
So on this transmission, there's a couple of shafts here in the back. Actually gonna stand this up here. Get yourself a couple blocks. Stand the tranny up. A little easier to work on it. Mind grabbing the camera there?
Yeah.
Bring that over. We'll So I just want to show a close-up here of this transmission here. There's two shafts right here that you have to hit out with a hammer and a punch, and there's a retaining bolt here. So you have to take this small cotter pin out, and then you've got to remove this pin here, which in this case is sliding right out, which is a miracle. Usually everything I have to do is torches and everything else. So you're going to want to gently slide this out. And put all our stuff in there. Thank you.
Yep.
And now we want to try to hit these pins out. Some transmissions you can hit them in and there's room to get that out, but some you can't. So you gotta be careful with that. It's supposed to come out this way, away from the gears. But in this case, it looks like the upper shaft, this is the reverse gear here. You can see right here, here's the reverse gear shaft. So we'll probably want to take that out first. And then the other one here, this pin is for the cluster gear, which is the lower or cross, sometimes called cross shaft. So we're going to take out the small one first. Looks like I have room actually to hit this right out here. So that one actually can go in. Wow, that's easy. Okay, something bad's gonna happen because that was way too easy. That's how it goes. Something bad's gonna happen. So you pop that out. That had clearance to get around the gears, so I could take that out that way. The other one, it looks like see back here. Check these things out. Look at how nice these things are. Just shiny, clean, free of grease and oil. Even in the inside here, it's just so great to do this with these parts. Look at the shaft here, all cleaned off. All the stuff's gone. Little bearings. Got a couple of pieces of media in there. Just look at that. You can inspect things now. You can see stuff. Okay, have you got that screwdrivers?
Yep.
I think I got it here. See the gap opening up right there?
Yep.
Get that in there, there we go. Look at that. Teamwork.
Makes the dream work.
Okay, pry that out more. There it goes, finally. Had to bend it out like that. Got a almost bleeding right there from it. That's nice design. Thanks, engineer that designed this stupid clip.
So I think, I don't know, it's like, this is not right, this clip. I've never seen it. Like, it looks like almost like it was cut on it.
I've seen them like that before.
Yeah?
Yep, I've seen them going the wrong way. I have no idea. Oh, wow. Yeah, feel that bearing.
Yeah.
That's awful. That's junk.
Yep.
It's worn out.
Yep.
So good thing we're replacing that. So
Yeah.
now we have to take this thing here and we have to press this bearing off in the press. So let's go do that. Okay, so we went over to the hydraulic press and realized that I had another project set up in there for something else, so we can't use that. The kit that Matt bought has all the parts. Where'd you get the parts from?
That all came from Millworks.
Millworks, okay, yeah.
Yep.
So Millworks kit provides the bearing and this little shield right here now. Normally, if you don't have that shield in your kit, you're gonna wanna be careful not destroying that, but in this case,
you can buy it all as like components, or you can buy it all as like a one kit. What I just did is I just basically pieced together the components. Every time I would be up in the shop, I'd just grab something else, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna need this, or I'm gonna need that,
So let's try the brass hammer, see if this will get lucky here. It worked. Probably the Ford bearing, Ford script bearing, so it's probably original.
Yep. That's the right size.
Just taking the burrs off here and any crap that might be on there that it's not going to hinder us putting the bearing on. Now you can see how clean that shaft is right here, ready to go. There's no more burrs. Okay, so we got the shield.
Yep.
Which will go on first. The shield should go on, I believe, the way you have it there.
Like this.
Yeah, because this it's got to clear the this space here. This drop is for the gear, so it clears that. Yep. And then the bearing, and then the snap ring on the bearing goes faces outward like this, correct? Towards the input, I believe. Yeah.
Yep.
Because the other side's the dirty side of the bearing that we didn't clean, and that's that's correct. Okay.
Yep.
So this guy's gonna go like that, and we have to push this guy on.
Yep.
And then that's Matt's got the snap ring there. He should show you, and that's you can see this.
It's got the proper.
There's that double end
chamfer.
that's proper facing opposite directions, so you can put a tool in here and. So, there we go. All right, now we have to put.
What's this project you got in here?
This project is the clutch for a it's about a 1938, 1939 Mack engine, approximately. I don't know the exact year, but it's going in a 27 Mack chain drive fire engine. And we're just working on getting this thing apart. It was a little confusing for the clutch rebuilder, so they had to send it back, and we took it apart, got the throwout bearing in the center here on that center shaft was the problem. We figured it out, got it apart, and we're fixing a couple things. So we're gonna send this whole thing back. They're gonna do new springs and a clutch face and everything else. So let's see, will that work? Yeah. Okay. There we go. Now we need a pipe on there. Will this work? Yep, that'll work. And we need a spacer. It's a little too big. Look at that, huh?
Perfect. Hey, is that one of the spacers we just got out of that new estate?
I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like super score.
Yeah. That was huge. Tell them about that.
Now we went to like an estate sale, beelined it for the basement, open up the Craftsman tool cabinet, and it's just full of Proto, Snap-on, SK. We make a gigantic pile, 40 bucks.
Yep. I think I spent like 55 on some stuff.
Yeah, I spent 40 and
2 brand new trash cans. I mean,
Yep.
just all kinds of stuff that you would never even think of, you know. We got going
like the
on?
irony that I spent like $600 on the Snap-on truck earlier in the week.
Yeah, like earlier in the week.
Yeah. Well, I didn't get any free beer steins from going to the estate, so.
We got going here. We got something crooked. Something is not going on straight.
Speaking of which, do you want 2 of those beer steins? There's 4. I'm never gonna use that.
No, I don't
4.
want the beer steins. No, sorry. Is this thing hitting? No. Why is this? Why are you not cooperating? Oh, you know what? I might have the piston maxed out. That might have been what it was.
Oh yeah, that'll do it.
I think that's what it was.
So we
Okay.
just need to go a little taller.
Problem solved. Yeah, that's what it was. I thought I had the thing straight.
The gentleman was a transmission mechanic for many years, so he had, you know, pretty nice tools.
There you go.
Barely saw anything Harbor Freight there, which is unusual.
Yeah, I don't think there was anything, was there?
There was like a set of screwdrivers, like brand new.
Harbor Freight, that was
Yeah,
it?
that was it. Everything else was, you know, Craftsman when it was still good, and SK
So-
and Snap-on.
Spinning beautifully now. No more crunching.
Yep.
ready to go. We got the splash guard on here. Everything's ready to rock and roll. We just got to put that
Snap
clip
ring
on.
Yeah, one thing is like, you know, just to keep things copacetic, and it's like if you know you got something that's trashed, you're not using it again and you don't need it, like just get rid of it.
Yeah. Once you're done with the project though, wait until you're done.
Yeah.
Before you throw stuff out. It's a common mistake people make. They throw it out too soon. Look at that.
All right.
We want to put together the lower shaft in here first to get that together, and then we can start putting together the rest of this upper shaft here. So this is your cluster gear here for the lower shaft. And this guy's going to go in like this.
Yep.
And we got this assembly goo here.
Yeah.
This stuff is pretty awesome.
We're gonna need 2 roller bearings.
Yep.
And there's
This guy's going to fit in. This guy's going to fit in there like that. We're reusing these, right, Matt?
Yep, we were using these. I actually have brand new ones, but these came out of that 40 transmission, and we put them in the tumbler, and they just cleaned up so nice. I mean,
And these are so much nicer than the new ones.
not made in China.
If you can reuse the old ones, reuse them.
Little shout out to Vern Tardell. Like, you should, you know, if you're doing this, you should have a copy of this.
Yeah.
It's good reference. I don't remember anything when I take stuff apart unless I put it back together right then and there. John's memory is much better than mine when it comes to this stuff, but this is great. We just referenced it just to catch up on some stuff, and definitely get yourself a copy of this.
All right, so the short bearing in the front, is it?
Yep.
And the long bearing in the back?
Mm-hmm.
It's the front. Spacer. There's that in the back. Now we have to put a,
Hey, look at this. It's even got the honing ID for...
wow, for the bushings, yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
Which is excellent.
So the ends of this shaft here have bushings on them. So with this, we want to grease here and here on the ends, and there's going to be a spacer here and here. You want to look that up. Should have the bronze spacers, which we have right here.
So one of the things that we didn't do, but he talks about doing in here, is he countersinks all the shafts for the silicone around them, like in the back here and in the front. So he countersinks here, here, and the front.
I don't know. You're going to use 600 weight oil, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't need for
Well,
that.
it's gonna leak anyways, but
Yeah, that shouldn't leak. Not with 600 weight oil. Okay, so we're going to put this little assembly stuff on here and put this in here. You can see in there, we gotta, I'm gonna put a little bit more of this stuff. This stuff works really good. I think it's called assembly goo. And you put this in here and it sticks to the transmission and holds it there for you. And then we have the other one. Gotta make sure you don't get your assembly goo all over everything else. Wipe your hands off. And we have the other seal here, like this this bushing here. So the, oh wait, did I put that on the wrong end?
no, you're on the right end.
No, I'm not. I'm on the wrong end because the large gear goes towards the front. This goes towards the front.
Oh, okay, so you
And I've
just,
got this. This goes on the other end.
yep, okay.
My mistake.
Yep.
So this large one's going to go on the rear here. And it's going to face that way.
And there's 2 different versions of that, as we just
Yeah.
found out. So I think that's a later one.
Okay, that fits really good.
Yeah.
We just lowered that inside, and we have each spacer in there. And now we're going to put the shaft through here. We have the long transmission shaft here. The end with the hole goes back here because you have to put the retainer pin in this one at the end. So make sure that's facing the right way. You know what? I want to put a little oil on this.
Yeah.
It's going in, but yeah, a little oil and a little tap with the hammer.
Yep. A little love tap. So one of the things that we didn't do here, but like a lot of people recommend, is basically countersinking or beveling out around all the shafts here and then doing clear like silicone around them. I didn't even think about doing it, and quite honestly, I don't think I've ever had a car that has that done. I mean,
we do a lot of transmissions here at Gasper's Automotive Restoration, and I've never done that, gone to that degree, and I've never had one of these leaks. So, but maybe somebody else has. But
I'm sure my 40 leaks a little bit, but I mean, I don't know. It's not that big of a deal to me.
Yeah.
If I had remembered to do it, I probably would have done it, but I didn't remember to do that, and I'm not that concerned about it. But if you're doing it, you may want to do that. And I know Zach from Wired covers that.
There you go. Through the bushing. It's into the... Now, if this thing doesn't go in like this and you have to like really use a press or hammer on this thing hard, something's wrong. Stop. Check for burrs and, you know, some damage or something. I'm not hitting hard. And I'm using a brass hammer. Now I'm going to leave that there so I can go like this and adjust this, right? This has to line up with this hole that's in here for this pin later. I'm going to leave this out a little bit. It's just about through all the way. Got to get the last bushing. Should be, yeah, we're lined up.
Yep.
So it looks good. There it is. Okay, that's good. So it's just through the other side. We can still turn this. Good for now. If we have to remove this, we can get at it a little easier. Okay, now onto the reverse. This gear has an offset here, so this has to be facing the right way. So we have to make sure we get it going the right way. And there's an oil hole there, if you see, it goes down into the bearing there, the bushing that this rides on. So we want to make sure we have this facing the right way. Looks like the emboss is headed to the rear.
Yep.
So according to the book, it says this is to the rear. That goes in there like that. We have our little shaft here all prepped and cleaned in our nice tumbler. It's all ready to go. A little oil on this. There we go. And again, probably a better way to do this to get it to line up is to get it vertical. You can slide the gear a little bit with your hand. Get my finger in there. There we go. Okay. I take this. Looks like we're lined up here pretty good, so okay, that lines up good right there.
Yep.
And then we go to the next one. think we're just a little off. Just about perfect. Might need to tap this guy a little bit. Okay,
Look at
look at that. So now we have the cluster gear in, and we have the reverse gear in. Everything's meshed correctly. Everything's pinned. We have to come back and cotter pin that retaining pin. I didn't miss that. I just didn't want to do that right now. And so now we have to install the upper shaft. Now, the upper shaft is in two pieces. You have the front part here, which we're going to do right now. We got our bearing. I'm going to do our assembly lube, assembly goo.
It's actually called Tranny goo.
It's called Tranny goo?
Tranny goo.
Okay. It's goo, but it works good.
Yeah. Which surprisingly, they haven't changed the name of it in today's day and age.
Yeah. So that's all set to go there. This is going to come in the front like this. And actually, you know what? This may...
I think you can drop it down inside.
No, I have a feeling that you have to drop the lower shaft
Oh, that's right, you do. Because
to
remember
get
when
this in.
Yep.
Yes, that's right. Okay. That's all right. Very easy to reverse. We have our lower shaft high-tech tool here.
Yep.
Removal tool. Not a big deal. Oh, I have to take the retaining pin out first.
Yep. And, you know, we took this apart some time ago.
Yes, it was months ago.
Months ago, really.
6 months ago.
And look, you know, little things we're running into, the same things that you may run into, you know, especially if you did what we did and took it apart a long time ago, let everything sit on a table and then get back on it. So,
you know, the other thing too is that we don't rebuild Ford transmissions all day long the same thing. I mean, if you did this particular transmission
oh, sure.
every day,
Yeah.
you would have it down to a science, but you know, everybody's in the same boat. There we go. Now see how that shaft dropped down?
Yep.
This is going to clear here when we go to install this, right? And then we can pick that back up and put this back in. I'm gonna leave this rod in there to keep all those bushings from falling or slipping or whatever. So we're ready to go there. And now here's our main shaft. And the main shaft needs to have, let's see, we'll do the rear portion first, which is going to be this gear here. Mm-hmm. We'll put a little bit of this stuff on here. And this is going to face this way, according to the photo. I'm gonna have these grooves here, facing towards this gear here, and then you have your synchronizer drive right here, and we're gonna put the synchronizer. These are the.
So we have brand new ones, but those are the ones that came out and we tumbled them, and I say we just use those. I mean,
Yeah, these are in like great shape.
Yeah,
so
it was a low mile, so
why not, right?
You know.
And then, so this guy is going to go on like this. Okay, and I should probably put some assembly goo on this. All right, and then the double throw gear. Where'd that go? Is it this? Not this guy here. Yes, it is. This guy here has to go on. And there is a series of
Springs and detents.
springs and detents that we need to put in there.
Yep.
Which are,
We have brand new ones right there, but we also have the ones that we took out. Oh, look at what I just found.
that's the old one.
Yep.
The old upper bushing.
Yep. So we do have the originals that we took out. And I think there's two different styles of these.
Well, I tell you, this one here that Matt just showed, this is solid metal, and the one here that they give you is a piece of like tin stamped
Yeah.
hollow. I would go with the original one myself. It's not worn out at all. It's like brand new. It has no wear anywhere. I'm gonna go with these.
Yep.
So in order to put this in, you have to probably, I guess we should put these springs in, because a spring you don't want to reuse, and the balls, you know, we'll reuse those, but these pieces of tin we're not going to use. That's kind of cheesy.
Yeah, look at the difference.
Yeah.
You know, it's probably just because of cost.
Just show them that up close and see.
You know, this is stock, this is replacement. You know, I'm sure they do fine, but I mean, yeah, there we go.
Yeah, check out that there. I mean, you could see the difference. It's just, you know,
Yeah.
I don't know why you would just make it out of a piece of metal, but
I think probably the other thing too is when they started making reproduction parts for these, you know, in China, it changed how they were making them because of cost. Now you can get a lot of this stuff made. You know, you could probably get these made from Send Cut Send or
oh yeah,
Oshcut or one of those companies now in the States, you know, at a low cost and do it the right way.
You know, Matt and I were just talking about in the car on the way here about, you know, manufacturing these old car parts back here in the United States again, and I think a lot of that's moving that direction because it's getting harder or impossible to get things from overseas anymore. So I'm gonna put that guy like that. That's not gonna fall off. And then we'll rotate here and do the next one.
They give you an extra ball here, it looks like? Or no, that's
nope.
the one. Okay.
Okay, now we need the, this is the slide gear here for the shifter. So it's got to be facing the correct direction or else it's not going to line up with the shifter fork. So want to make sure that, you know, we get that going the right way. So we're going to check our book, and the book shows it is facing this direction. Now, are there any, it doesn't matter where there's no clocking here. Here we go. Just had to get it perfectly lined. Want to just gently tap that down, Matt,
Yep.
with the brass hammer?
Yep.
Just the gentle baby taps,
Yeah. Kind of like
because my fingers are in there and I don't
Yeah.
want to strip my fingers off. Nice, there we go. Okay, it locks into place with those balls.
Yep.
That's good. Okay.
You gotta swap the battery out on there.
Yep.
And then there is, and I think it's,
We got a couple more things to do here, though. We've got that was one synchronizer.
yep.
Now we've got to get the other. This slides over. We got a couple more parts to put on there.
Yeah. There's, and then
we
there's
have-
a baffle that goes on the back.
So we have the second synchronizer here, which is going to go here and line up with that. And then there's another part. Can you go back to the diagram? Yep. And there's a retaining ring.
Yep, snap ring.
Which goes in here. And I think we have the other end of this is this. So when this comes together, this goes and this mates with this right here. So that's the other part of the synchronizer, this piece here on the input shaft. So we just need to get that snap ring in there. And I think we had that, right?
Yep.
Matt's got that.
Snap rings are right here, the new snap rings.
Oh, there we go.
Yep.
Awesome. So you got the new snap ring. Again, this is the same style as before. It's the correct way it's made. Just gonna go like that, and you gotta get yourself a pair of these snap ring pliers if you're gonna do one of these. Okay, got that in there, locked in all the way around. Look at that.
Yep.
Look at that, there we go. We're engaged there, okay. All right, you wanna bring the tranny housing back over?
Yeah, just so we're going. We just did that. And
We
then
did that. Now we have to put when we go to put it in, we gotta assemble the other gear on there too.
Yep.
There you go. Okay, so we've got our upper shaft here, and we've got our, this thing keeps changing pages on me, here we go. We got our cluster gear facing this way, and this gear is gonna face this way, and goes on here, just like that, on this helix. Goes on nice and smooth. You wanna make sure this moves nice and smoothly, which it does. All right, and the we've got a seal ring,
Which I think we
right
have
here, brand new.
This is the one that came off of it. Just out of curiosity, let's just like check the difference in quality here.
Off that one.
Yeah, so this is the aftermarket one, and this is the original one.
Looks pretty similar.
Yeah. You think
It's a little thinner. It's
Yeah.
a little thinner.
Yeah, let's use
You
that
want to
one.
use this one?
Yep.
And you can get the clues from the old one too. You know, you don't have to have a book.
Yeah.
I mean, it shows all the star marks on there, and that faces towards this gear. So, you know, that helps right there. And then we've got a brand new bearing right here. Matt's going to open that up.
Yeah, we are replacing the bearings, but we're gonna try to use as many of the old parts, assuming they're in good shape, just because the aftermarket stuff isn't as nice.
Okay, and then this has an external snap ring, which is correct. And this is going to go on here from this side. Now, I believe this guy has to go on after you put the shaft in. So you're going to want to put the shaft in here first. You don't want to put the bearing on and then have to fight with it. So we're going to put this guy in here. And there it goes in like that. And this is going to come in from the front. We already have the bearing in there. We're all good there. Take our brass hammer. Gently tap our input shaft in here and get this bearing against the snap ring here. And one thing I like to do to help hold the transmission together instead of fighting with it is you take this guy and throw it on without the gasket, just so it's on there, and we put a couple screws in just to hold it while we're working on it. It doesn't really matter which way it goes. This is going to face, I believe, this way because the little thing for the spring goes right here. We can get this lower shaft back in here, right?
Yep.
So my other table has a hole drilled in it just for this reason. I have the shaft stick down, but let me see if I can. Yeah, we're already hitting a brick wall here with this lower shaft. This makes it a little more difficult to get the thing back together. Take our drift out. There we go, move the gear on the bottom. Okay.
Yeah, I think this is supposed to go on the main shaft.
What's that?
This.
Oh, did we miss a part?
I think we did. I think.
Oh, where's that?
It goes right there.
Okay, everybody, so Matt was looking through and noticed that this ring here was still on the table, and it's been months and months since we've taken this transmission apart, so I believe the ring goes right in here, so we're going to fix that right now.
This is really why you want to take stuff apart and then put it back together.
Yeah, you want to do something like this and take it apart and have your, get your parts and put it back together within a week or two. You don't want to be waiting around 4 or 5 months, 6 months and trying to figure it out. You can do it, but it's just going to take a lot longer.
Especially if you're me.
I don't remember anything, and I took pictures and then lost all the pictures when I did something on my phone. So
Put that there so we don't have a bomb go off and have to put that back together. This, I believe, goes like this. And there's a pin it lines up with. Yes, and that all lines up with those teeth marks there. That's correct. Okay, that's good. All right, that's back on there.
let me send this to Josh too and see.
Okay, so that goes right back on there. Okay, we're set now. And that inner shaft has got to go in a little bit. Push that in. Okay, everything here lines up correctly now. That's good. And the snap ring is looking good too. Okay. All right, no harm done. So we're set there. Now, on this back side, we have, according to the book, we have a this oil slinger washer here. This is to protect the bearing from having too much oil sprayed on it. And the bearing goes on next, like this. And this guy is going to get pressed on. Yeah, this one also went on a little snug, so sometimes these transmissions, bigger ones I've worked on fire trucks, the bearing goes on easier, it kind of just slides on. It just depends on who made it. And then just to make sure, the 11 is the bearing snap ring. That's already, there's a snap ring that's already on the bearing here. It's just pointing that out in the instructions is another thing to note. If you get this book, this Ford transmission book here, the book points out a couple of things that are doubled up, like this right here, 24 and 25. All that is an alternate depending on what style you have. And also up here it shows the snap ring number 11 and it shows the bearing number 10. So the snap ring usually comes on the bearing already, so just something to note. I really don't want to put too much force on that front cover like that. Let's get the front cover on here all the way.
Yep.
And then we'll be done up front. So we're just gonna take that off. We got our bag of gaskets right here. I'm gonna rotate this gasket around the snap ring, get it behind it. And get it in position. There we go. And then the drain lines up with the drain. Our throwout bearing hook is on the top. Okay, that's on there solid now. I'm gonna get a couple blocks of wood. Right back. Okay, we'll get this guy up here. Now while I'm doing this, I'm gonna get this back shaft in here. There we go. That's locked in, and now we have to get this guy on. And we could go over to the press, I guess, to put this in. Now, you know what? I don't like this.
Press.
Yeah, let's just go take this over the press.
Yep.
You know, the reason I'm doing this is that some guys don't have, you know,
press.
look, I know you're supposed to use a press in this, right? But some guys don't have that.
Yeah.
And they're working in their garage. And, you know, I'm not beating on this thing. This bearing can take a lot of abuse. And I'm not banging on it really hard. But the right way to do it is put in the press, and you can just slowly just
work it down.
So might as well go do that.
Yeah.
Yep. So we're going to take a commercial break.
Yep.
When we come back, we're going to be at the press. Okay, everybody, so this is a hydraulic press, obviously, and we're going to put this bearing on right here. Okay, we're all set up. Now, not everybody has this, okay? You saw me before. I was using a hammer and stuff to put it together. Sometimes that's how you have to do it. You know, not everybody has this. So here at the shop, we have it. I was just trying to show everybody how to do it.
Yeah.
The bearing was going on. It just was going to take quite a while, so.
You know, hopefully if you know someone that's got a press, I mean, you can buy one of these at Harbor Freight fairly inexpensively. The best.
But why?
Yeah.
If you're going to use it once.
Yeah.
And this is not taking a lot of force, by the way. This is, for this press, this is nothing. I'm barely touching this, it's moving. So the bearing is designed to slide on there. You know, you can service this pretty easily without this press, but we're gonna go all the way down. And that snap ring is gonna bottom out right here. You see the snap ring bottomed out, and that's it. It doesn't need to be pushed on hard. And we're gonna let this guy up, get rid of these. And there we go. Now that bracket that Matt was talking about, that goes right here, right, Matt?
Yep.
And this is going to be where the Tranny mounts to the rest of your car. So
Yep.
that's that.
All right, so John's got the throwout bearing here. We're using the original throwout bearing. You want to show people how to test a throwout bearing?
Yeah, so when you put this on, it goes like this, and when you push the clutch, it goes forward like this, and it pushes against the fingers of the clutch, right? So you always want to push this together. You don't want to sit there and go like this. You might hear a little noise maybe from the tin on the older bearing. Oh, it's no good. You know, you think it's no good. You want to push like this. And I don't hear anything. It's nice and smooth. There's no crunching. This is a beautiful bearing. There's nothing wrong with it. We're going to reuse it. Many, many miles left on that. Okay.
Sweet.
That's that. Now, the basic transmission here is all set, and we need to do the
shifter top.
The shifter top.
Yep.
All right.
And eventually we're going to do the new bushings in the clutch rod business here, but we're gonna show people how to do the old Yankee setup anyways for that. 'Cause that's the one thing that you do need to change on the transmission with the AV8 kit is you need to put a new clutch rod on. This is ours here. So I should probably throw some paint on the end of that anyways too. But
Yeah,
so
hit that.
we're gonna show people how to slide the fork on there because it's what is referred to as a interference fit. And you know, it needs to have some resistance when it goes on there. You don't want to turn it down or you know, make it so it just slides on. It'll defeat the purpose of having that fork on there. So we'll go over that in a bit. That I want to send to Chrome.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, because you know what? Chris has got a chromed one on his car, and every time I look at it, I'm like, God damn, that's cool.
Okay, so this is going to Chrome, all right?
Yeah.
So set that aside.
Unless someone's got a chrome one they want to sell me.
Now, this is the fork.
Yeah, so an important thing about a 39 transmission or a synchro transmission is the fork is 3 inches instead of 2 3/4. And that,
2 3/4 or 2 7/8.
you know, I think it's 2 7/8.
It's like an eighth of an inch.
Yeah, it's an
Because
eighth
I remember
of an inch,
Matt
yeah.
showing me this
Yeah,
and schooling
yeah.
me on this, and it's like it looks the same, but it's
Yeah.
just like an eighth of an inch bigger. It's just slightly bigger.
Yeah, and that particular one there is an aftermarket one. Nobody makes those anymore, but I got this one years ago. I think it came from, it doesn't really matter who it came from, but they don't make them anymore. Maybe one day we'll put them into production. I don't know. But that's what you want, and obviously you want the double detent shifter tower. So, you know, you're looking for those too. So yeah, we're gonna put the shifter tower back together. We'll pull this thing off, and we'll put this back together.
So,
The clip
Okay.
doll here, it didn't, because I had this upside down. I don't know if we want to clean that up or just re-glip doll it, or I don't know if it's even.
this shouldn't even have glip doll on it
Yeah.
because it's a rotating surface.
Yeah.
So we should actually grind that off.
Yep.
Let's do that now. There we go. Got it. Okay, so this is clean. Everything else looks great. And we're gonna start assembly. Now, first thing you wanna do is make sure which direction this thing goes on the transmission. So on this transmission, this is forward, where the numbers are is forward. So our shifter fork here, when we're in, this is a normal, like a Model A pattern, right? Up to the left is reverse.
Yep.
First, second, third. So when the shifter is in first and second, you're actually moving this slide over here. When you're in, first and reverse, and then second and third is on this slide over here. So this guy is going to be on, this shifter fork changes for, what is it, second and third?
Yes.
And then we got a reverse fork here.
Or is it second and third, or is it? Yeah, it's
This is going to be second and
Yes,
third.
second and
Because
third.
those are synchronized.
Yeah, correct.
This is,
Yeah.
So your new shifter fork is for second and third.
Yep.
Because those are the ones that are synchronized. This is going to change. So this is going to be on this shaft here.
Yep.
And then this one here is going to be on the other side.
Yep.
And they line up like this. And there's only two shifter forks, right?
Yep.
Okay, so set that aside for a minute. So this guy's going to go here. And there's actually a slide down there, which I am first there. And put a little oil on that. All right.
And we got
And then this guy here, you have two shafts here. And you got one with closer positions and one with further positions further away. This one here is your second and third. Put a little oil on here.
I'm sure they talk about the shifter tower in here. Good old Vern.
Oh no, you got Glipdol in there. Okay, so there was some Glipdol on the inside of these holes here. Matt had put that in there by accident. So I grabbed an adjustable reamer and I spent a few minutes and kept adjusting it until it was just big enough to take the Gliptol off, but not, you know, remove the cast iron too much so that these things are sloppy. So this is our, this is forward on the housing here. It's upside down. This is to the front. This is to the back of the transmission. So your fork for second and third is supposed to face forward towards the front. And then this is going to be your shaft. And the way I tell is that this hole through here is the hole that goes, aligns with these here. And it's on an angle. This one here is not on an angle. It's pretty much almost straight across, so it does not work. So, and plus second and third gear has a short shift movement here. There's only a short distance between the shifter. This is your resistance back here for your spring and your thing here. So this is going to be the second and third shaft. Did you get Gliptol down on there too?
Mm-mm.
No? Okay. That's not going in there right. I think there's some Gliptol that got in there. It oozed in there and it's hanging it up.
Shit.
Got to get in there and clean that out. It's not going to work right. Okay, so in order to fix that, all right. Okay, so as you saw in the last piece, we were trying to assemble this thing and we had all kinds of problems, and down in this hole here, there were burrs and Gliptol paint, all kinds of garbage. We had to clean it all out. So we ran a 7/16 drill bit through there. That is the correct size, and these balls here are 7/16 exactly. And the shuttle here, I call it, little shuttle, this is also just under 7/16, so it slides. So now it goes right through, no problem. So we're going to start over here. Again, this is the forward side here. This is our shaft with the hole on an angle. I'm going to come in here. We'll put our shifter fork on. These are going to face towards the outside. I'm going to put this in the middle position, which would be neutral. And we get a ball and a spring. Put them in here. That's going to be a lot easier to put that on. Much easier.
Yeah, I'll say.
Okay, that's in. Now this shaft won't move now. It's in the center position, so that's good. Again, we have to put this on later. We don't have that pin right now, but you just put a pin right in here. Not a big deal. That can be done from now. And then we've got our other shifter fork here, which will go on like this, faces the opposite direction. And we have our shaft. Feed that in here, through here. These notches face that way, towards the other retainer. You want to put it on, again, the middle position.
Sip, you want to put that in?
Oh yes, I forgot the shuttle, thank you, yes. The shuttle goes in now in between, down there, and you slide your shifter in there, line that up. Put the ball in there. Whoop, did that. There it goes. Spring. This is a very easy shifter tower to rebuild. This is simple. There's some truck ones that I've worked on over the years that are really complicated, and it takes 4, 5, 6 times to put them together before you figure it out. There's no manuals to go by. This makes it easy. Okay. And there you have it. So we're going to put a pin in here and a pin in here, and this shifter tower is effectively completed. We have to do there is a couple of these
Inserts.
freeze plugs here.
Yep.
To put in.
Send those to Chrome. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. That goes there. And these guys go here. Can you hand me that ball peen hammer, please? Yep. Thank you. Now, did we buy new ones of these? No. Can you do that? Yes. But is it really that big of a deal? No. It just is a little dust cover. Keeps dirt and things out. It's in there. It's going in with friction. It's not going to come out. And again, other than these pins that we're going to drive in a little bit later, we're going to finish putting these in. This thing is ready to go on the top of the transmission.
Okay, so to wrap this up, we got to do a couple things. We need to add our roll pins on the shift forks here. We need to fit our clutch rod to the throw-out bearing fork here, which is an interference fit. We're going to show people how to do that because this is the old Yankee clutch rod. And then we need to put on our actual shifter, which I think I'm missing. There's supposed to be a little like fiber gasket.
Potentially inside, maybe
Yeah.
there might be a little fiber gasket inside here underneath this cover, but for now we're fine. It comes right off.
We'll grab one at Millworks.
Yeah.
So I don't really remember it even having one on there, but according to the book, there's supposed to be one. So, and the other thing is we got to put new brass bushings in, which John just turned down a tool basically so that we can knock those in. And
I think we showed this one before.
We did.
And I had to turn down another end here to be the installer. This end here is the remover, and this is installer. So if you're doing a lot of these transmissions, you make one of these things.
Yeah.
Right, here's the other bushing.
Yep.
And all right, why don't we put these in?
Yeah.
You want to grab yourself a pair of pliers with these roll pins here. It's easier to hold them. And you get it started in here. Get that in there. Got a handy dandy set of roll pin punches here. Oh, something's not lining up. Got it.
There you go.
Okay. Once it lines up, it goes right in. Okay. One more hit. I think that's good.
Yep.
All right, nice. That's in. Now we have to do this one. This one's a little bit easier because it's not as thick, and
Yeah.
you can kind of get to a little easier.
It's got to come forward just a tiny bit because you. Oop.
Here, let me do that.
There you go. A little forward. There you go. Dead on right now. Helps if I also have this in focus.
Here we go. Got that one in that time.
Yep.
There we go.
Sweet.
Those are done. Those are in now. We can bring our transmission over. They make there's a guy online that makes a transmission stand for this.
Yeah.
And Matt has seen this thing. I would recommend getting that if you're, it helps somebody that's a novice that can't work with something that's flopping all over the place. This isn't exactly the, it's kind of a pain to work on this thing. It flops all over.
Yeah, actually, it's just made of aluminum. It's pretty simplistic. We could put a link to his Instagram page.
Yeah.
He does a lot of transmission rebuilds. His stuff's like gorgeous looking. I want to say it's Neil Jennings' older brother, younger brother.
We do not have the right gasket. Way too many holes.
Yeah, that's really weird.
And there's nothing in here that looks like that at all. Nope.
That's weird.
That is weird. Okay, well, we're not gonna go on and on here with this, forever, just because we don't have a gasket. Pretty easy. Most people know how to put a gasket on. You set it on there and put it together.
Yeah.
So that's, not too big of a deal. We're gonna get these forks lined up here. I don't know if you could see in there, Matt. And then you're gonna get the rear fork hangs down a little more. You get that on the rear gear there, and then the front one goes on the front here, and
Yep.
boom. And then manhandle this thing a little bit to get it to go on.
And actually, I'm gonna bring this up to Millworks, I think, on Tuesday, because that's where the motor's at.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I'm sure they have a gasket in stock right there. Since Matt has to get the correct gasket for this thing and put it on, I'm just gonna put a couple bolts on here, just so we can test the transmission shifter when we put it on. And we got our shifter here. Looks like everything is in there. Oh, we need that one
pin.
One thing to remember too, you got this pin right here for your shifter. This pin here keeps the shifter from spinning around a circle. That's what that's for. So we need to put that in. So this is the pin, and this pin goes in here like this. Make sure you don't let that slide in there and fall in the transmission. And there's a slot in the shifter right here, and that goes on that. And then this ring comes down and screws on and keeps the pin from going the other way. All right, so the bushings are in.
Yep.
With our bushing tool we made, we put the bushing in there and the bushing in over here. And Matt's waiting on the transmission housing here. He needs to get that from Millworks.
Yep.
The gasket from Millworks.
Yep.
This from the chrome plater.
And the seal for the
seal for the input shaft.
yeah, which is also up at Millworks. So I'm gonna just bring this up to Millworks on Tuesday, because that's where the motor's at. And,
So here's
yeah.
the input cone here, and this is the old one. We just pulled the seal out of it so you could see, where it goes, and we wanted to get a number off of it, but Matt's input cone is already in here. To take this off is very easy. As we showed before, you just pop the spring off, this slides off the throw-up bearing, you take the 4 screws out, it comes right out. So he's gonna get a new seal for that one and redo that, because he's got the Gliptol on it already. And that's it.
Yeah, and we just need to do the clutch rod.
Okay, so we finished putting this all together. We talked about, a couple things that he needs to do. Here's the shifter shaft, and we're gonna actually should put some grease on this guy here. Some of this assembly lube stuff. It's gonna make this shifter fork here go back together a lot easier. Now, there's a thing called interference fit. So you've got a piece like this with an ID, and then you got a piece like this with an OD. Interference means that the OD of this shaft is slightly bigger than the part here. Now it's probably 1/1000th, 2/1000ths of an inch tops, maybe less. Just enough to make this thing have some friction to it when it goes on. So you're gonna have to tap it on.
Yeah, and that's been a couple people now have contacted either myself or Millworks and said, hey, this doesn't fit, and not understanding what an interference fit is. And I even had somebody overly turn down the shaft on a lathe, and then call me and say, hey, you need to send me a new one. And it doesn't need to be turned down. You may need to use some emery cloth, but it's just a tight fit.
Yeah, and this guy here is not going into the bushing. It's a little tight, and I don't want to hammer it in there, so we may have to ream the bushing. Get this stupid cover out of the way.
It's a nice kit.
Yeah, so I have some reamers here, adjustable reamers. These are easily available online. They're not expensive. And if you haven't seen my tool video from a couple years ago, one of the must-haves is this dial caliper here. This is an electronic one. You have to have this if you're doing any of this work, or else you're just going to tear your hair out trying to figure it out. And also, these reamers come in a nice convenient labeling of 30 seconds, so no one can tell what size it is unless they get out their calculator. Okay, so after a lot of head scratching and trying to figure things out here, I got this, I had to do some math and figure out what sizes these things were, because they come out in these 30-second sizes, which is crazy. So we've got a reamer here set for 7/8, which is what the book calls out. And we're gonna run this through this bushing real quick, just to take off a little bit of material, just enough to get this, clutch shaft through here.
There's something really satisfying about reaming for some reason.
Yeah.
You know?
That was not a lot of material. You always want to go a little at a time here. You don't want to go fast and try to hurry, and that's how you mess things up. You want to go a small amount at a time.
Other thing too is we're probably gonna take down that rod a little bit.
We're going in about, you can see the mark, we're going in about the length of the bushing. It's just not quite enough.
Yeah.
It's just too stiff. It's got to be a little more. You can't force this stuff with hammers. It should go right in by itself, nice and move. You got to put lube on it, and it should be fine. You should not have to hit it with a hammer.
We should fit the fork to this, because we may end up taking a little tiny bit of material off of this as well to get that fork to fit, you know, with some emery cloth.
Yeah, if there's a small amount on here to come off, we could do that later.
Yep.
But yeah, I want to fit these bushings here, and then we'll make sure this thing goes in right, and then we'll put that on.
Gotcha.
And yeah. Okay, so more back to the reamer. Okay, that's what we're talking about right there. This slides in just like that. That's how it's supposed to go. So you take your time, and you went one step at a time, and you get the thing done right. If you rush and you try to go like a bull, then you're gonna ruin it. Okay, so that fits really nice now. It slides perfectly. Just a slight amount of resistance. Lines right up with the other side. Everything's good. Okay, that's done.
Sweet.
Now
we're gonna turn the other side.
We're gonna go to the other side. We should not have to move the reamer. The reamer should stay.
Is anybody sponsored by Snap-on? I feel like they don't have to sponsor anybody because they're such like a...
I think they do.
Probably like race teams or whatever, but...
Those guys on TV with the fancy
Garages and
garages
stuff like
that have like, you know, there's not like a speck on the floor. There's like not a piece of dust anywhere. And everything they get is like the latest product. Oh, look at that. One less mosquito for everybody on planet Earth. You know, they have everything at their fingertips, and somebody cleans up for them after they're done. Those guys, they get free stuff from Snap-on all the time, probably, or sometimes those guys have Cornwell and Mac.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. Look at that, everybody. Just a slight drag. Stays where it is. It doesn't flop in there. It doesn't go clunk around or anything, you know. All right, now look at that.
Yeah, perfect.
That's really good. Okay, now we've got to switch sides here, of course.
Yep.
We don't want to look really stupid doing that, like I usually do. Roll this around. I'm going to have this on the driver's side, unless you have a left-hand drive Ford hot rod. Matt, have you ever seen a left-hand drive Ford hot rod?
There's you know, a lot of the guys in New Zealand, obviously in Australia, run left-hand drive, and occasionally you'll see a left-hand drive show up somewhere. So this goes this way here with the bolt going out. We're probably going to want to test like interference fit that thing, because I think it's going to be pretty tough to get it on without doing a little bit of emery cloth, or you know. But
this guy is going to roll with the curved part of the fork. Just so everybody knows, this part here is curved, and then the other side is flat. The curved part's what you want against the throwout bearing on the back side to push it out. And like Matt said, this hole is facing, so you can see it. It's going to go like that. Yep. All right, so you want to fit this, okay?
Yeah, it's tight, so we're probably going to want to.
Yeah, I'm going to have to figure out how to do that in here. Well, let's just see how hard the skin goes on.
Yeah.
I'm going to put this guy in here. Let's just see. See how I'm hitting that?
Yep.
So you shouldn't be wailing on this thing to get it in, but I'm not hitting it hard. So it's going right together.
Beautiful.
So we have to get this in there and then somehow hold the, probably the fork will hold itself against that shaft.
Yeah.
So, okay. Oh, I can even turn it by hand.
Yeah. So it's kind of like in the fire service, if you're like using like your set of irons or whatever, so you got a strike and a drive, right? So strike is hot and heavy, it's real hard. Strike, and then once you get your start, your purchase, it's a drive, and that's basically what you're doing right there is a drive. It's a little bit more controlled, it's not as wild, and it's just driving that rod through the fork.
Rotate this guy down so we're hitting down, and
if nobody could tell, I just practiced some forcible entry at work recently, so.
So before we start putting this thing in here, we want to make sure this is Matt's part from Old Yankee Speed Company, and only available at Millworks, right?
Correct. Yep.
So this shaft has to be in a certain way. There's a hole right here. You can zoom in here for your clutch fork right here, and that has to line up with the fork, or the lever here can go this way, forward towards the engine, or it can go to the rear. And I believe you said, Matt, that this is supposed to face towards the rear of the car.
We want it towards the rear.
So you don't want to go put this thing together and just assume and go like that and put it all together, and you're going to find out, oh no, I got it on backwards. So point towards the rear of the car. And this is actually going in by hand here. I've got this assembly goo here. We'll put a link to this in the description for this stuff. This works really good. And it makes things a lot easier to put together.
I've been hot and heavy on the Snap-on truck lately. Shout out to Austin, our Snap-on guy.
Yeah.
Treats us right.
Yep. So now the shaft is in, all our bushings, everything's done. We just have to put a bolt now.
Yep.
Originally, this came with a pin from the factory that they mushroomed over. I guess you could reuse this if you wanted and then do a little tack weld on there, but we're gonna use a bolt, right?
Yep, grade 8 bolt.
Okay, so I'm gonna get a grade 8 bolt out of the stockpile, and I'll be right back. All right, so we took a quick break. We had a little difficulty here accessing the hole here, trying to line things up. And Matt said, hey, why don't you take the throwout bearing off? We could turn it around. So you can, if you take the throwout bearing off, you can move this guy right out here, and you can see right in there. And we actually ended up using a, this hole is a 5/16 hole, not a 1/4 inch. I don't know why in the book it tells this guy has using a 1/4 inch bolt. Maybe that's because it's easy to just fish it in there and it works, but I like to use the correct size hardware, so this one's 5/16. You know, also, this is not a grade 8 pin here. This is just a mild steel pin from back in the day. There's no need to have a grade 8 pin in there for this. It's not under that much force. It's not that much force at all. So I have a good American-made grade 5 bolt right here, and I'm just gonna slide this guy in here, and then we'll put a nut on here.
Yep.
And we're good. Basically, that's about it. We put the bolt in here with a nut and a washer, and we put the throwout bearing back on. We didn't want to bother showing that because that's, you know, takes a couple of minutes. And
yeah.
And we're all set with our old Yankee stuff here. So this is ready to go in the car, and almost ready. We got a couple of things to do. We talked about, but
yep.
That's about it.
Yeah.
So
sweet.
We hope this video helped everybody out there. And again, you're going to find people that do things different ways, but I think we did this, you know, the right way. I think it came out nice. And
yeah, you know, we had some little like run-in issues, but we found like, you know, we solved the issues basically, whether we consulted with the book or figured something else out, which is stuff that everybody's going to run into. And again, like, you know, we took this apart and then we let it sit for a long time. So, you know, that's what happens. So I hope people learn from this. I mean, for me, it's muscle memory. I got to do this a bunch of times for it to really like set in with me, you know? Yeah, it's pretty exciting. I'm stoked to get this on the motor, and then in the car, the next thing is going to be pulling the banger motor out of the car and getting the car prepped for the old Yankee kit, and then we'll bring it up to Millworks and put the drivetrain in.
Yep.
Cool. Hit like, hit subscribe.
And remember, keep that old iron running.